Hey everyone, I want to make a video and say why it's so important we finally surrender to our adult sons and daughters when it comes to parental estrangement. And I'm not saying turn over and allow them to beat you on both sides. I'm saying, for me, I had to surrender to my adult daughters because when you're dealing with unkind people, and it's embarrassing to say my daughters were unkind or they called me a crappy mom or pointed out everything I did wrong. I think it's very, very, very important to disconnect and surrender and say, that's it. I'm, we won't have contact further. I'm not going to reach out. I'm not going to drive past your house. I'm not going to drive past your work. I'm letting this all go because I think it's very challenging to like yourself when the people you love the most or have been closest to or gave birth to are telling you what a terrible person you are. I'm just going to go back to my childhood. I was bullied in and out of my home. I was bullied by my oldest sister and I was bullied in school, and that's just the way it was. Bullies are people that don't feel good about themselves, so they don't want anyone else to feel good. And so that's why you may be the target of bullies. There's a variety of reasons why. But, anyways, when it comes to our children telling us what terrible people we were or are, it is so hard to step out and not feel guilt, shame, not have a knocking down of our self-esteem. It is so challenging. And so what I had to do was I had to wave the white flag to anyone in my life who said negative things to me or about me. I had to do it so I could learn how to not only like myself but love myself again. And I think maybe for the first time in my life, because if you're bullied in your home by a sibling or someone who resides in your home, maybe it's a cousin, uncle, etc., you already have had a downplay in who you are as a person from young on. And then maybe you get out of the house, maybe you marry someone who doesn't treat you well, says you are worthless, that nobody's ever going to want you, and does everything in their power to keep you at your lowest level. And all of a sudden now you have children and they're telling you the same thing. So it's almost sometimes impossible to escape it, because if our children are not kind when they estrange, it's most likely they weren't kind when they were at home and it was mirrored by other people in your life. And sometimes other people in your life, whether it's an ex or sister or aunt or etc., sometimes they'll use your children against you as well. So it's this vicious cycle. And what I did was I finally surrendered and I said, I can't do this anymore. I don't feel good interacting with you, communicating with you, etc. And also, on a side note, I wasn't my best self when I was with them because we trigger each other, and if they yell at me, I yell at them. It's kind of that type of situation. So I had to break free. Number one, I had to learn new boundaries. I had to exercise my rights to be treated with kindness and compassion. I had to learn new tools. I had to rewire my brain to say, you know what? Even though this has been ingrained since birth, I no longer have to live this way, and I no longer have to accept anything less than kindness. And I'm not saying it's going to be smooth sailing from here on out, but it's a reframing of the mind. And eventually, when you get used to being around people who are kind, loving, etc., and then you're around someone who's not, you'll see your red flags will go up immediately, and you'll say, oh, I'm not feeling comfortable. This is giving me a sense of unease. And then you'll say, you know what, I'm going to have to excuse myself from the situation. So that's the beginning, is finally surrendering. And you surrender so you can finally start to like yourself again. And maybe it'll be for the first time in your life. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. That's why I surrendered. And now I like who I am and I love who I am, and I have value, and I only want to be around other people who value me. So, and people that I value. So anyways, that's all I've got to say, and I'll be back.